Well, if you want to keep it in the straight and narrow, and just says, come here and bring her a pizza. Yeah, I mean, any uncle, any neighbor, any guy could certainly do that. But if that softball coach or whoever it may be is texting all kinds of things about having sex with the girl and her pussy and and send me a pic and everything else, and you're only 13 and I'm 44, and then you research the statutes and you drive 2 hours on a Saturday night and you bring Cialis with you.
This is 44-year-old Jeffrey Ben Sokol, a creep who drove 2 hours from Boston to Fairfield with a pizza pie, just to be greeted by Chris Hansen. In this video, we're taking you through the infamous case of Jeffrey Sokol, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why this is the most well-known case from To Catch a Predator. Jeff Sokol was single for 10 years with no kids and an entry-level job, spending his boring days in Boston, Massachusetts. Now, in cases like this, normal people would go out and socialize with colleagues. But what does Sokol do? Well, he decided to kill his boredom by chatting with 13-year-old Bailey. Now, to him, Bailey was this gorgeous, amazing, and fun-to-chat-with girl. But in reality, she was just a decoy. He started conversing on a Wire Club chat room under the handle @CecilTheLion. And before he could ask for a WhatsApp or Skype account, they both revealed their ages. However, that didn't stop Sokol from continuing the chat via Skype, where they first exchanged pics, after which he was quote-unquote stunned how beautiful she was. But to make sure it was a she and not some he, Sokol asked repeatedly for a video chat, just to quote-unquote verify. And even though they never got on a video chat, a simple call fooled Sokol quite easily.
Hello?
Hey, what's up?
Hey. What are you doing?
But the purpose of this call wasn't just to verify. It was to find out whether the plan to meet up was still on or not.
So what are you doing?
Nothing. Well, I'm doing some laundry, waiting to see if you're going to show up. If not, I don't know what I'm going to do because it's kind of ugly out here. But we'll see. I might just watch a movie or something. And I'm eating pizza.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I'm hungry. Since somebody won't bring me cheeseburgers.
I'd bring you pizza if I could.
Yeah. So do you think you still might be able to come?
Do I think what?
Do you think you still might be able to come?
I don't know. I mean, it depends on a bunch of things. It's just so, I mean, it's so last minute. I know it's a good opportunity because your mom's away, but I don't think it can happen this weekend. I know it's not your fault, but I mean, like if I was able to talk to you yesterday, I might have been able to plan things a little differently, and it's not a big deal.
That's okay.
Now, in reality, these were just excuses because he was having second thoughts about this. But in the end, he went with his predator's gut and planned to meet at her house on October 3rd, 2015. After he sees Bailey, he gets the pizza, burgers, and orange drink out of the car and follows Bailey inside. As soon as he puts down the stuff, he immediately goes for a hug, which Bailey backs out of by acting nervous.
That's a long drive.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry, I'm really nervous.
Oh, you're gonna give me a hug?
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
At one point, Bailey asks him if he's ever done this before, to which he responds, "I've met girls online."
Yeah, I'm fine.
I've just never done this before.
I know.
Have you?
No, not really. I mean...
Are you telling me the truth?
I mean, I've met girls online, but...
When Bailey declines eating after settling, he goes for the slice. But just before that, he pulls out a medicine, claiming that it's something that he takes before he eats. Well, considering the situation, we all can guess what the medicine's for. After some time, Bailey hears a door opening, which is technically her cue to leave the room. And out comes Mr. Chris Hansen.
Flicks and stuff?
What's that?
I have no idea. Do you want me to check?
Somebody here?
No.
What kind of pizza we have tonight? Who's this? I'll get to that in a minute. Who are you?
Now, usually, people bolt out the door when they realize it's a sting operation, but instead, he sits with a confused smile on his face, answering Hansen's questions. If you Google Sokol's name, you'll find a bunch of references to Planet Pizza. That's because...
Go ahead, have a bite.
Wow. I haven't done anything wrong.
While he's getting grilled by Hansen, he continues to chomp down his pizza slice as if nothing bad has happened. He continues to eat in arrogance while Hansen confronts him with the truth. After a few minutes and some hard-hitting questions, Hansen's crew reveals itself, and he continues to sit with that stupid grin on his face, knowing full well he's caught for good.
So if there's anything else you want people to know, anything you want to say, now would be a good time to say it.
He simply walks out of the house, only to find the officers locked and loaded, ready to arrest him on charges of attempted risk of injury to a minor. He was brought in for interrogation because he clearly had some other things planned for the night, which means there can be more charges, or worse, more victims.
And we could probably just kind of start with what happened this evening. I looked at some of the texts. There's several pages. The text between you and the young female. Can you just tell me what kind of happened from your standpoint tonight? You're in, I assume, at home in Brooklyn, and you're corresponding with this younger girl.
Yeah, I was just looking to meet her, and I know you're not going to believe me, but I honestly was not planning on having sex with her. I know the texts talk about that, but it's talk. I mean, I wasn't planning on having sex with her unless it was right and legal to do it. I don't know if I would have or not either, but I was not going to do
What do you
it.
mean by right and legal to do?
No, I mean, if I, she seemed like somebody, you know, that was mature and, you know, somebody that, you know, that would be fun to hang out with. And so I wanted to meet her and find out if she was what.
He is trying so hard to sound innocent, but there's no way his confession can be taken in the right way. It's funny that he wanted to check her maturity in person, knowing full well she's 14. Also, part of the reason why he thought she's mature is because the decoy girl's age is actually 19. But again, that's no excuse to show up at a 14-year-old girl's house. So back to the video.
So how long had you been corresponding with her?
Like 3 weeks, yeah.
How'd you meet her?
A chat site,
What was that called?
Wire Club.
Wire Club? Is that, what is that? Is it
It's
kind of a hookup site or something?
No, it's like chat rooms, but I mean, I don't know if it's a hookup site because there's people there that are all over the
Have you
world.
talked to people before? Girls, guys, whatever?
Yeah.
On that particular site?
Yeah.
Have you talked to younger girls before? Today? Or in the last couple of weeks, rather?
No.
I've just never done this before.
I know.
Have you?
No, not really. I mean,
Are you telling me the truth?
I've met girls online, but
Not that I know of.
And what was the interest in this particular girl? Let me back up a second. Are you married?
No.
Have you been married?
Yeah.
Divorced?
Yeah.
How long?
Like 10
years or more?
11 years, yeah.
Any kids?
No.
What was the reason for the dissolution of the marriage? Anything major issue with the ex-wife?
No.
Or she with you?
No, it was just a mutual breakup.
And how about dating and things since then? Do you have relationships? Have you had any recently?
Yeah, I mean, a few here and there, yeah.
It's ironic that he described Wire Club as a site for hooking up, and yet he wasn't bothered to find a 14-year-old there.
I mean, yeah, I've dated girls in their 30s and 20s.
And I mean, this wasn't, I'm sure, the first time you met a girl who was purportedly 12 or so years old, right?
What would you say?
I said, I'm sure this isn't the first time you either chatted with or met with a girl who was, supposedly 12 years old.
I believe it was the first time that I know of.
It was? Is that what you're saying? It was the first time? I mean, I don't know. You may have an issue or a certain fetish or attraction to younger girls. You probably do.
Yeah, I've never gone to meet a girl that was a teenager.
Never. And why tonight? Just Saturday night. It's got it from basically the Boston area, right?
I just had nothing to do. I figured we'd just hang out, and I was just gonna drive home later tonight.
You talked. I know in the text there was some mention of a marriage contract. I don't know if it's a religious thing or something else, but what's the deal with the marriage certificate? What was that whole conversation? Or a marriage agreement or a contract you talked about?
I know I was joking at one time when I said, "Is it in the contract?" I was joking.
Was there a mention of bringing some type? Maybe it was in jest, but did you mention bringing some type of marriage contract or something like that?
No, it wasn't. No. Bringing something? No.
Did you mention having her sign it, or you signing it, or both of you signing it? I mean, I can go get the paperwork. Unfortunately it's an inch thick, but there's some conversation about that. I just want to know.
Yeah, there was conversation. There was conversation about that. I was just explaining to her that people could get married by just signing a contract. Signing marriage documents. But
you're talking about a 12-year-old girl, right? It's kind of.
Yeah.
I think you could probably even
14, but yeah, she said she was 14. But okay.
She was 14?
I know, it's young.
According to his texts, at one point he's persuading her that the only thing that can prevent me from getting arrested is if we got married. When she asked how that would work, he claimed to have read the age laws and said that she could get married at 13, and once she's 16, they can do it. This contract was also one of the things the decoy was instructed to ask about in the encounter, because he thought that it would be clear that she consented to whatever he was planning to do that night. And before you start searching, we can tell you that there's no such thing like that at all. And now, he denies having the contract during the encounter.
To drive from 2.5 hours away to see this girl.
I didn't think it was against the law to meet with somebody and just hang out and talk to them.
You probably, I don't know.
Is it? Just hang out with somebody?
To hang out?
If I had sex with her, yeah, that would be against the law, but they didn't do that.
Okay, so let's just take a step back. So let's just say you never got divorced from your wife, and you had a daughter. You said it was 10 years ago, right? Give or take, you got divorced. So let's just say, as a result of that marriage, you had a daughter or a son who was 10, 12, 13 years old. And it's Friday night, and you and your wife, hey, honey, hey, whatever your daughter's name is, Caitlin, we're going to run out to dinner and stay out a little bit late. You can stay at home, and you come to find out, you walk in, there's a 44-year-old guy from, 200 miles or 100 and something miles away. Is everybody cool with that? You're cool with that?
Well, obviously, at first, no.
At first?
Yeah, when they first walk in, it's not going to be cool. But if it was somebody like me, I don't think there's a threat.
Well then, it's a good thing you're not married and have kids, Mr. Sokol, because that's just creepy.
But how do they know what your intention is? You're talking about blowjobs and pics.
Yeah, they don't.
Other issues. You're not talking about maybe some common interest of music or sports, which is also, the whole thing would be weird. I think just what everybody would think. I think you actually would too. It's unhealthy and strange. a 44-year-old guy, what's he got in touch with, in common with a 12 or 14-year-old girl? And why, if you lived in a big metropolitan area, would he drive whatever the distance was, 2 hours away on a Saturday night?
Isn't that all speculation?
To me,
I mean, it's
what's
like,
the speculation? I'm looking at this.
you're speculating that I was going to have sex with her tonight.
Because that's what you said.
I didn't say that.
You didn't say that? Well,
No.
tell me what you said.
Well, we talked about having sex, but that doesn't mean
Isn't that strange?
It doesn't mean I was going to.
Let's take another page out of his chat log just to see whether this assumption is true or not. When they were planning the meetup, he claimed that he could be breaking the law with serious consequences. And when she asks for meeting me, this is what he responds with. He literally played out dozens of scenarios in his head, fighting the urge to do it or not. At one point, he got smart and he refused to answer the question directly. But then he got dumb and went from legalities to promises and set the meetup for Saturday night. That's all it took. A promise to end his paranoia.
If you, what was your name again?
It's Detective Kelly.
If you read all the text, I don't know if you read all of
I
it.
did not, and I probably can't digest them all right now.
Sure.
I'm starting to try to look here.
I'm sure.
Good.
But if you read a lot of it, the exchanges between me and her, I was always aware and scared of any consequences if I was to do something wrong, like if I was to have sex with her. And to be honest, yeah, of course, like from what I saw, she's, beautiful and everything, but I was not going to risk anything by having sex with her. I just wanted to meet her and hang out with her, and I was going to go home.
You were going to meet her, hang out with her.
I can't trust anybody, and obviously now, even more so. But
How do you think we and she feel?
well, see, I get it. I get it. You guys.
We're trying to protect the innocent and the vulnerable, right?
Yeah, but
Just like when you were that age and I was that age, you wouldn't want some guy, attacking you.
If he's dangerous, yeah, of course not.
Or maybe he just has bad intentions. When you were 12 or 14 years old, if there was some guy in your life, or appeared in your life, who's in his 40s, and is talking about having sex with you and different things, isn't it your parents and the police and the school system's job to kind of protect you from that person? And sometimes if you're not being totally honest with your parents or community people, the only alternative sometimes we have is to do sting type operations like this, but we would never catch anybody. Because you're not going to tell anybody. You're so paranoid about it, you're researching the statutes. Because
I just my
you need to.
My case, okay, for this is obviously there's a lot of text there,
Yeah.
but I was trying to do things or make it so I wasn't breaking the law. If I decided at some point that I wanted to, have any relations with her, I was trying to make sure that it was legal. Otherwise, I wasn't going to do anything.
I'll explain that a little bit.
If I came down and I liked her, she liked me, and
Right.
she was cool, and I didn't feel like she was, too immature or too young or too, the same. If I felt like I was on the same, level as her, emotionally and whatnot. I mean, I wanted to, I didn't want to do anything that was breaking the law. See, I
There's a
understand.
reason these laws are in place, right? I mean, to protect people.
Right, and I said that to her.
Meaning what? I'm still. You kind of expounded on it before, but you're like, oh, I want to do things with her, so in case I did have feelings for her and I liked her, it would be legal. I don't know what that means. She's still, let's just say, 13. Because you mentioned 13 right here. So how does that still make it legal?
I don't know. She said she was turning 14, but okay. How does it make what legal?
You just said that. How would it make it okay if you're going to do things with her and she's 13 and you ultimately had relations with her, intercourse? How does it make it legal?
It wouldn't unless her mom consented to marriage. It's the only way it would be legal.
So you're gonna marry a 13-year-old girl with her mother's permission?
Maybe when she's 16, I would do that. Why is that like so hard to believe?
I'll tell you why. It's because you are a 44-year-old man texting, in some places sexting, and in some places, whatever this is, a 14-year-old. And before your first meetup, you're brainstorming ways to have sex. Then you show up after a long drive, talk about the phony contract, and on top of it all, you take a medicine called Cialis before dinner. That's why, Mr. Sokol, it's hard to believe that you were there to just quote-unquote hang out.
Honestly, if you read the whole text, read everything, you can see how scared I was to meet her. Just
Listen.
Just the whole scared of the whole situation.
You're scared of her for basically one reason, and the reason is that your clear intention was to have sex with her. Because if it truly was just to meet somebody, you wouldn't even be nervous about it. You'd be like, screw it. I have no interest in having sex with this girl.
It's a situation.
Chatting. My right hand to God, and I'll swear to the parents, and they could be home for that matter. I'd love to meet them too, and my intentions are pure. Your intentions were not pure. That's why you had the reservations you had, right?
It was a new situation too, and you've never done it before, so yeah.
But you're 44 and she's 12, 13.
That there's all these laws about
Thank God there are, right?
About minors.
What if there weren't?
Listen, I know what I'm capable of.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know you think that I'm bullshitting you.
No, you're trying to like kind of massage the corners, but do I think you're realizing and being honest with yourself and with me about what you did? No, I don't actually. But you're talking about it, and I appreciate that, but you're not. If you truly looked in the mirror and thought about what's going on or what you did tonight.
That's just because I don't feel like I did anything wrong.
Well, if you want to keep it in the straight and narrow and just say, all I did was come here and bring her a pizza. Yeah, any uncle, any neighbor, any guy could certainly do that, any softball coach, whatever, as long as it's kind of like, the parents know and there's nothing creepy going on. Yeah, in and of itself, is that fine? Sure. But if that softball coach or whoever it may be is texting all kinds of things about having sex with the girl and her pussy and and send me a pic and everything else, and you're only 13 and I'm 44, and then you research the statutes and you drive 2 hours on a Saturday night and you bring Cialis with you and there's a reference of a marriage contract because that'll somehow make it legal. It's fucked up. Honestly. Be honest with yourself. You can try to bullshit me all day long. It doesn't really matter to me. Most of the people that I talk to aren't exactly honest. But if you ever want to get well and maybe get past this point in your life and not be back here sometime in the future, or somewhere else for that matter, or in a bad place.
I agree. It's not something that
seriously
I should be doing, and I said that.
Yeah,
I said that.
That's a problem. If your first kind of thought about this was probably a correct one. What the fuck am I doing? This is wrong. I shouldn't need to research a statute to see if I'm able to hang out with a 13-year-old girl and talk about having sex with her. We're not talking senior in high school or something. We're not in 6th, 7th grade, right?
It's not gonna
You're 40.
It's
not tonight. You just said before. You if things worked out and you ended up having relations, you wanted to know kind of it would be illegal.
Right.
I think that's what you told me.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it unless it was legal.
It wouldn't do it. So the Cialis is just, we keep it just in case. And I'm driving 2 hours to meet a 12-year-old because I'm sure she's got a wonderful conversation and she's really interesting to chat to. You have a college degree. Where do you work?
If I was planning on having sex, I would have taken the CLS at home and just left it there.
I don't know. For all I know, you took one already. Maybe you took one at home, and maybe you brought another one in case it was a phenomenal night, right? Or for tomorrow if you slept over.
You know, I mean, I told you I have it in my car. I rely on it when I date girls and stuff. So, because I have issues with that. So.
If you think about it, he waited till after he was in the house, had the introductory conversation, and then take the pill. As soon as he took that pill, it was confirmation that he planned on spending the night.
In the middle of it all, Sokol pulls out a medicine bottle. You can see it on the video. He takes a pill, apparently in preparation for what he thinks is going to be a big night ahead.
This is not speculation. This is just clear facts. It's clear that he will keep denying his involvement throughout the entire time, but in almost every Predator investigation, one question remains the same.
How about, like, I mean, I know you're doing the texting thing. Was there any, younger girl kind of adolescent pornography either at your house or in your car or anything? Images, computer images, phone images?
I'm gonna look at my phone now.
Did you send her pictures?
Yeah. Yeah, me.
Such as you? Like what? Dick pics?
No.
Naked chest? What? Let's see.
Those are all my pictures.
This is of her or just you?
No, it's just like pictures that are on my phone. Sent a random picture today. I just took a picture of myself with my Brown shirt.
With your what, Brown shirt?
Yeah. It's at the bottom.
Who's the girl September 16th? Friend of yours? Girlfriend? Whatever?
Yeah, it's just somebody that I was chatting with that sent me pictures on the same site.
Did she send you any pictures, this girl?
Who?
The girl from today.
No. Oh, yeah, she has.
Naked?
No.
Not naked?
Never asked for anything naked.
In March of 2017, Judge Robert Devlin sentenced Sokol to 7 years in prison, which were suspended after serving 2.5 years, and 10 years of probation for a downgraded charge of attempted second-degree sexual assault. In July of 2018, Sokol tried to change his legal name to Sonny Derek Porter, but his request was eventually denied. He was also denied parole in 2018 and had to wait until June of 2019 to be released from prison. He has to be on probation through this year and remain registered as a sex offender until 2029. Today, he has kept a low profile ever since his release from prison, with the last publicly available photograph of him taken in early 2021. Now, if you liked this video, well, you gotta make sure to check out the horrific case of Glory Hole Jerry.